We've all heard the term built, not bought. But which one are you? Are you the type of person that goes and buys a car for its true potential or the potential that you might envision for it, and then spend hundreds, maybe thousands of dollars and hours, if not days, working on the car and transform it into that vision that you initially have for it? Or are you the type of person that goes out and buys a car and it's already done? Do you have it finished at another shop before it even gets to your doorstep? Are you the type of person that just wants a factory car that will do everything you want it to and with a warranty? Sure, there is some gray area there, but how do you actually define the difference between those two? Today in this here video, well, this whole channel pretty much has been revolved around the built, not bought mindset, because that's primarily what I focus on here. So you could say, yes, I'm a little biased, but in all honesty, I've had no choice. And that's how I think most of us are. Most of us get into cars and start working on them ourselves, primarily for the sheer fact that, hate to say it, we're too poor to pay anybody else to do it. This is a topic that seems to have been of great controversy lately over social media in the automotive atmosphere. And I'm hoping we can either put some of these claims to rest, or this comment section is just gonna blow up into one giant argument. Either way, I'm not here to argue, but I am here to say those quiet things out loud. So I fully expect somebody's feelings to get broken here in this video. And you know what? I'm not really gonna feel sorry about it. Let's dive into this. So obviously I might be a little bit biased because, well, I work out of my garage. I have a car up on jack stands with an engine out of it, and I do everything myself. And the truth be told, I'm too poor to pay anybody else to actually do the work for me. So here we are, this is how I learned, and if you wanna learn too, you can be broke just like me and learn to do everything yourself because, well, part of it you don't have money for, and then after working in the automotive field for long enough, you eventually learn that you don't trust anybody, because these shops will hire people that you may not want even picking up a wrench near your car. You are probably better at working on your own car than some of the people these shops pay to go do the work for you, but you're paying them. You see what I'm saying? There's a gray area there where, well, they might have a flagship vehicle and they have their best technicians work on those flagship vehicles because those are the ones that they post on social media. Those are the ones that say, hey, look what we can do. We're gonna put this on a pedestal. But what you don't know is all the people in the background and all the extra cars that are in the background where somebody comes in and says, well, I want this, but I don't really want this. And if you don't do it the way the shop tells you they wanna do it, they'll put you to the side and give you the cheap guy, and they'll just get your car done for you. Unfortunately, this is how many shops work. I can't speak for all of them, but to me, a giant red flag is a shop where the owner doesn't actually partake in the builds themselves. In defense of these shops, I will also say that they want to do it a certain way because that is the way they know that works, and they will put their name on the line for this particular direction that they may have with your build. So there's a give and take there, but you kind of gotta find that middle ground. My biggest recommendation is I wouldn't take my car to a shop where the owner themselves aren't actually out there turning wrenches, or they haven't actually worked alongside the guys that are back there to begin with. Theoretically, from a business perspective, the owner should not be working on the cars. However, automotive shops, performance shops, you have to be involved or else you don't know what's going on in your shop. Plain and simple, I've seen it. Also, with building your own car, you don't just understand the time that goes into it, the money that goes into it. You don't just understand the parts that go into it. You understand every little aspect. You understand the struggle it took to put that one part into the car that was very difficult, or tuning the vehicle, what you had to learn to get to that state where you can comfortably tune your car. And maybe a bunch of you might draw the line at, I'll build an engine, I'll swap an engine, I'll do the wiring, but I won't tune the car. Or maybe there's some of you that say, I will tune the car, I will build the engine, but I won't paint the car. There's so many different aspects to it. I can 100% tell you within reason, knowing as much as you can, maybe a little bit here, a little bit there, will get you so much farther in the long run. I can say this personally from experience, having worked in the automotive field professionally, as well as working on my own cars on the side, tuning them. I even painted this beautiful 300ZX behind me. Is it perfect? No, and I will own up to that. But you know, at the same time, for my first ever paint job from 8 years ago, I mean, granted, it's been in the garage for the last I'm not even gonna get into that. but the paint job's held up very well and I couldn't be happier with it. Where do you actually draw the line? As in, where does it actually start with building a car? What do you actually define the beginning of a built car? Because you're not actually going out and smelting the metal to create your chassis, are you? No. You start with probably a mostly stock car or a slightly modified car already, and you tear it down to the point where you can put it back together and comfortably say that this car was literally not running without everything that I put into it. You see, to me, built starts where you become responsible for the reason the car comes together, where you're making the decisions, you're solving the problems, you're putting it all together to become one functioning vehicle. Now you can take that for what it's worth. Obviously there are different levels. Some people gut the car completely, they tube the front end, they rebuild the motor. Other people merely pull the motor out, freshen it up, put it back together. Some people don't even pull the motor apart at all. There's different levels to it, but either way, if you can sit there and comfortably say that you're the reason that car is together the way it is and running exactly how it is, I would consider that built. For instance, this is very popular nowadays because same people are probably sitting here nodding their head and saying, yep, I did spark plugs on that car. That is the exact reason that it is running. Wrong. Also, for some reason, so many people nowadays love to buy the new BMWs, the A90 Supras, do a downpipe, exhaust, tune, and an intake, and run 700-800 horsepower. BMW guys, talking about you too, and call that a built car. Yeah, you're making a lot of power. The car's probably very fast. It's probably way faster than my Supra back here. But all you literally did was throw downpipe, exhaust, and a tune on it. I'm sorry, but that doesn't cut it, at least not for me. That is still a stock car with bolt-ons and a tune. Now, if you want to really get into it and you decide, okay, I'm going to change out the turbo for an upgraded turbo, throw a fatter intercooler on it, and I might change out the entire fuel system on the car, I would consider that semi-built. It's not fully built, but I mean, you changed everything else around the motor. You changed out the entire fuel system. I'm sure that took a lot of work because those are direct injected. Maybe you added port injectors to the manifold. There's so many different levels to it at that point. It's not fully built. You're probably still making a lot of power, but at that point you run into the whole, well, am I going to blow the motor or not kind of area. And at that point, once you blow the motor and you have to rebuild the motor, congratulations, your car was now officially being built. You see, I have two 90s JDM sports cars behind me. Well, technically this is an 86, but you get the picture. These two behind me are both very good illustrations of what different terms of built could mean. I would consider my Z, well, when it was together anyways, fully built. And this is what happens to fully built cars. They blow up, things break. You just gotta deal with it. And then behind me, I have my Supra, which I would consider semi-built. It's a stock motor, upgraded turbo, and full exhaust intake with an aftermarket computer. Now, some people might look at that and go, well, that's pretty much fully built. Well, that's where you run into two different people where one person's glass is half full, another glass is half empty kind of thing. Now, maybe you didn't fabricate everything. Maybe you didn't machine every component. But if you're the one putting it together, learning it, fixing it when it breaks, that is built. Because you're not just driving the car, you're understanding it. And even if something goes wrong, there's only one person to blame, and that's you. And that's part of owning up to your own mistakes. You live and learn and build it better the next time. I guarantee you, if you forgot to clearance the valve guides when you installed new valves on your freshly built, pieced together engine, and then one valve kisses a piston and bends, and you have to pull the whole thing back out and tear it down, you're never gonna forget that again. Speaking from experience. Now, as far as bought cars go, you see, bought cars are kind of another touchy subject because I feel like the problem with people that buy cars that are already done or mostly done, or you get the idea. There's a certain level of respect that needs to be given to somebody who goes about, and I'm not trying to say it's demanded or deserved. Like, I feel like people that build their cars should still remain humble. And for the most part, a lot of them do. But when you go to, let's say, the track or a car show, nobody knows whether that car was built by the owner or whether that new owner bought the car already done. You see what I'm saying? The end result doesn't really matter to most people. But you know who it really matters the most to? those who put in the time and effort on their own cars to get them complete. I'm not looking to demand respect or anything of that nature, but I will say that a certain level of respect needs to be given to those who put the time and effort into their own cars. As somebody who actively builds their own cars, probably the worst thing you can say to somebody like myself is to say that you have a built car or that you built your car and you more or less paid somebody else or some other shop to do it for you. I'm sorry, you did not build the car, you bought the car. It might be built, it might have a fresh engine, a big turbo, a fully built drivetrain, transmission, the whole 9 yards. You might have a 1200 horsepower Supra, but don't claim that you built it. You know what I mean? Don't claim that you build cars. That is disrespectful as all hell to everyone else out there and their brother who has built their own car, who has put the blood, sweat, and tears. And then we hear the excuses of, oh, well, I just don't have the time, or, oh, I make so much more money at my real job. If I would be losing money if I spent my time building my own car. But if you're gonna put up a fight about building your car versus buying your car, when you in fact bought your car, don't dismiss those that have actively put the time and effort into building their car just because you, quote unquote, don't have the time to do it yourself. Newsflash, not everybody that can change an alternator can piece together a car. Not everybody that paints a car, builds an engine, can tune the car. There are so many different levels to this, and I really need to make a video one day on that very topic, because common misconception is, oh, you're a mechanic, surely you can help me on my fully modified Supra. Wrong, because it takes a special person to understand how the different components actually function together, rather than just changing out a part. Because maybe that part might not be exactly what you think it is, but it's cheaper. And just because it's cheaper doesn't mean it'll actually work with your car. I don't know if that makes sense or not. I'm doing my best here. If you bought a car, and I'm going to use the Supra again as an example here, I would comfortably say that any B58 Supra BMW, S58 BMW, with bolt-ons, let's say exhaust, downpipe, and a tune, I'm sure you struggled for all of like 3-4 hours putting on those downpipes, and you probably paid somebody on the other side of the country $1,200, $1,500 to tune your BMW Supra to make 750, 800 horsepower on a stock motor, stock turbo car. Congratulations, you have yourself a very fast street car, but that is still not built. That is not something I would consider built. That is literally a showroom car with bolt-ons. Wheels and suspension don't make it any better. The other end of the spectrum is a lot of people will say, oh, I bought the car completely stock, and since I've had it, I've done a fully built motor, I've built the transmission, this, that, and the other. And the real catch to it all is they didn't actually do any of the work. They just paid another shop to do it. Sorry, I don't really think that counts either. Like, you're still paying somebody else to do it. Now you could say, oh, well, you still have to go buy the parts. You didn't build the transmission. But I'm sorry, at the end of the day, when you go buy a different transmission for your car, it's not just as simple as buying it and bolting it up. There's so much more to it. You gotta get the clutch that matches the flywheel, which matches your crankshaft, which then you have to get the right throwout bearing, and you have to gap for the throwout bearing to the aftermarket clutch, which is now custom on your setup. There's so much more to it, and you miss all of that by just dropping the car off at a shop and saying, I want a T56 in my Supra. See what I'm getting at here? Now, I'm not downplaying anybody who's worked their ass off to make the kind of money they do to go do that sort of thing, because believe me, I get it. Look, you probably worked your ass off to become really good dentist, or you busted your butt to have multiple houses that you rent out for, or that you build for construction. But you build houses, you fix people's teeth. You don't build cars. I don't dare pay a contractor to build a house for me and say, oh yeah, I built my house myself. No, nobody says that. Why would you work your ass off to become a good contractor and build houses for a living, but pay somebody else to build your car and then turn around and say, I built my car? Man, this is getting really rough. Maybe I'm voicing my opinion too heavy, because everything comes back around to, I feel like I've been too much on the disrespectful side of being built rather than bought. Well, let me back up here. So for some reason, a lot of people who I speak to who have paid others to build their car, there is some sort of heavy insecurity there with those who pay others to build their car, and the fact that when you get questioned about your car, you may not have all the answers, and then you probably feel inadequate in some way. Well, yeah, that's true. And you know what? You probably really do look inadequate to somebody who's spent every freaking waking second that they have available to put into their car versus paying somebody else to do it. There's just a level of respect that I feel is completely dismissed. And when questioned about anything about how their car is put together, the insecurities just kind of overflow. Man, this is really gonna hurt some feelings. Also, guys, if you want to support a channel that actually builds their own cars and does their own work, we do have t-shirts up on the website. Check out billybuildswithad.com. Also, I just got this one in. I did have this as a blue shirt, and I just recently switched it over to a black shirt. There are multiple color options on the website for this particular shirt. Personally, I think the black makes the colors pop on this, and it turned out really fantastic. So if you want to get one for yourself, head on over to the website. Thank you all for watching. Let's get back into this video. You know what I'm realizing as I'm making this video? This video will probably turn out to about 10 to 15 minutes long, and it'll just be me speaking about my opinion with no interruptions. And everyone who is all, oh, you hurt my feelings. I bought my car, but I actually built it, and I worked hard to pay for my car to get built. You're not gonna be able to say anything. Well, I mean, you can cut it short and probably look like an idiot for asking a question or causing a rebuttal to something that I already mentioned in the video, in which case I wouldn't waste my time responding to you in the comments anyway. So if you want me to actually respond to you in a knowledgeable manner, I suggest you watch this entire video. Thank you. At the end of the day, do whatever makes you happy, but don't pretend there isn't a difference, because there is. One gives you the car, the other gives you the experience, and people will always respect the experience versus just the car. When you have a story to tell about how the car came to be, and you can honestly say that I busted knuckles, I bled, I sweat my ass off to get this car to where it is today, whether it took a week, months, years, there's always another level of respect that is included, no matter how the car looks when it's done. Now, don't take that as an excuse to throw together a hacked up car. Learn along the way. Do everything you can to do it right. As a matter of fact, always try to put it back together yourself how you would think the factory would do it. If you want to go in there and say, I want to rebuild my engine harness, do your best to make it better than the factory. Better quality parts, better harness, better connectors, better sensors. Maybe you put it together in such a way that it makes more sense to fix it and repair it the next time. I've heard the rebuttal before. The factory spent millions of dollars and it's been doing it the same way for the last 20 years for a mechanical fan. Look, I don't care how much money the factory spent on perfecting the mechanical fan 30 freaking years ago. I'm gonna make it how every car is in 2026, because that is way more efficient, and electrical fans and systems and computers have come such a long way since then. For instance, I took the factory computer out of this here 86 Supra, and well, I would have loved to throw it away, but I didn't. However, I put a newer computer in it, because why would you want to work on a Dell computer from 1986? For crying out loud, your average cell phone nowadays has more computing power than the Apollo 11 mission, which made it all the way to the moon. So I'm curious, with all this said, are you built? Are you bought? Are you somewhere in the middle? Which I feel like I've done my best to draw the line, at least some sort of line in here. Drop a comment, let me know. Give me your thoughts, your comments. If you have something else to add into it, let me know. If you enjoyed this video, I'd greatly appreciate it. Make sure you smash the like button, hit the subscribe button. We'll see y'all next time. Thanks for watching.